に合わせて叫べ勝利の雄たけびを秘密展開ゴーレムじゃ
Chapter 9 Poison the Electric Heroes. Gaku was a new person to show up for missions. When the mission to the Gao Rangers was over, he rejoined the Air Force. However, the rise of the second incarnation of the United Alliance of Evil destroyed much of the Air Force. Flashback shows Gaku shouting as he saw much of his teammates were killed by the United Alliance of Evil. Gaku can be seen in his flashback mourning over the loss of his teammates in Europe during the time Radiguet invaded France. Team, said Gaku as he looked in despair. Just then the Eagle Power Animal showed up and saved him. He was then taken to where the other Gao Rangers were, who were with Aka Red. We're here to fight a battle with heroes across time. As you know, every old hero will have their young selves in a battle against the United Alliance of Evil. 5 heroes will help us, said Aka Red. Thanks, Eagle. You saved me again, said Gaku. End of flashback. In his memories, Gaku can be seen fighting a group of robotic soldiers with many other warriors. He never realized he would be needed again. However, not everything would be recalled by him. Cole was finally awake and early for his muscle training. It was now time for him to have his breakfast. Sakura happened to pass by. She's more than just a pretty girl. She's got a kind heart. If she were in my situation just like the other day, I would do the same for her, said Cole. Oh, Cole, you're awake. We thought you'd never wake up from all the stress you had and how you landed here, said Sakura. Even if I'm in a strange world now, I managed to have a good night's rest, said Cole. But I'm still feeling bad about that incident of me, you know. Oh, don't you mind that. We're having breakfast soon. You might want to meet somebody new. You'll know him by his Air Force uniform and dyed hair. His name is Gaku, said Sakura. I'll be doing some of my early morning work on sorting out data with Director Aya. She's been pretty stressed lately and only her Jetman team can help her out. So if you don't mind, just try to get along with everyone. As of right now, we don't even know what powers you have, said Sakura. I'll just try to get along with everyone. I used to possess powers of a Red Ranger, said Cole. By the way, you're really pretty. Thanks, Cole, said Sakura. Sakura walked out after a conversation with Cole. She remembered Jasmine's words asking whether or not she was interested in Cole. But she was only interested in Satoru and none other, but he was oblivious to her feelings, or so it seemed. Me interested in Cole as a lover? Oh, that's rush. I can be his friend, but I can't be his lover. I can't just fall for a total stranger who dropped out naked from the sky, said Sakura. Cole decided to try and get along with everyone. On the other hand, he was getting some kind of attraction to Sakura. He was really thinking if he was serious about her. Jasmine can be seen passing by the lobby and met with Sakura. Well, I do think you're pretty interested in Cole, huh? To be honest, I think you two can get along, said Jasmine to Sakura teasingly. Don't talk such nonsense, said Sakura, who walked out. In her mind was still Satoru, who always been oblivious to love. Perhaps she needed advice from Kaori. Satoru was in love with Sakura, but he was unable to speak it out. Hoka then passed by. She and Jasmine had some talk. Oh, hi, Hoka. Anything the matter, Hoka? You look pretty upset about something. Anything can do to help? Asked Jasmine. Oh, hi, Jasmine. I wonder, do you think a guy like Cole would be interested in me? Asked Hoka. I don't think so, Hoka. Besides, he's already interested in Sakura, said Jasmine. Sorry, Hoka. Besides, your siblings tell me how much of a flirt you are. Drat, he's the hottest guy I've seen and he can't be mine? Oh, no way. Sakura, I'll beat you to Cole, said Hoka. Recalled the number of boys she had flirted with before. For Hoka, Cole had been the manliest man alive. She was determined to become his girlfriend no matter what. Just then, Cole felt the aura of Gaku. I feel an aura so similar to Taylor Earhart, yet so different, said Cole. Cole finally introduced himself to Gaku. Hi, I'm Cole. I'm one of the strange people from another world. I guess you heard of the incidents going on here, and there are from the reports, said Cole. I'm Gaku. I work at the Air Force. I don't listen to gossip. Sorry, said Gaku. For a second, Cole remembered Taylor Earhart, but he found out her counterpart was a male. The Air Force, said Cole. I know somebody much like you. She was an Air Force pilot, too. Is she your girlfriend? Asked Gaku. Nope, said Cole, who was seated in front of him. But you might be interested in meeting her if you met her. She might be your type of girl to date. Sorry, I'm not so much time yet, said Gaku. But if she can appear, I'd like to meet her. But I do have somebody here in particular that I might have an interest in, said Cole. And she's that girl in pink, Sakura. Said Gaku. Looks like attraction is not limited by space, although it can be limited by time. On the other hand, Tommy and Jason decided to apologize for the rather bad comments they made on Cole's arrival. Sorry for what happened the other day, said Jason. Me too, said Tommy. It's alright, guys. You know, dimensional holes are pretty unpredictable. I would have done the same mistake if I were in your place. But I still had a pretty indecent entry, said Cole. Then it was finally mealtime after the heavy exercise for the morning and a hot shower. It was a good thing the Alliance gave him much clothing as well as the others. He also had his work to do as well. Gaku was suddenly joined by Adam, Renn, Umeko, and Satoru, who would go with him. They were eating ampem bread as served on the table. It's been a long time since I saw battle, said Renn. Just to say, I wonder if there will be any pollution-based monsters this time. Well, here we are, said Gaku. The United Alliance of Evil killed much of my friends while we had our training in Europe, specifically in Germany, which the United Alliance of Evil has established its headquarters there. It was total genocide. I could not bear looking at it as men and children were slaughtered while a few choice women were being brought to the new ruler's playthings. It was horrible. I'm glad to have escaped, but many of my friends died terrible deaths. That is just very awful. My heart would ache a lot if I were there to see it, said Cole. Very true indeed, said Gaku. That's why I will fight against the United Alliance of Evil. On the other hand, I really will be bringing the golden sword with me, said Satoru. We might just need him. Saban could be needed for this mission. The golden sword, said Adam. I know he can't speak properly, but he's a pretty decent fighter. Adam, looks like you've gotten psychic, said Satoru. Who knows, you could be our greatest lifesaver. Not really, said Adam. Wow, the new incarnation is much more evil than the previous one. I guess the new leader must be a bigger bastard than Lord Zed, King Mondo, and Dark Spectre combined. I've seen Power Rangers SPD in Japan, and that man Umbrella was evil, and then Ryuan. Oh, that's just bad, said Adam. Adam was wondering how the DVDs came and where they came from. Meanwhile, at the United Alliance of Evil headquarters, Radiguet was finalizing his plans to conquer the Denjimen era, while he was enjoying another view of genocide. Just then it was time to get the plans done. Well, we are suffering from a string of failures, aren't we? Said Radiguet. Our target is the Vader clan. Well, I do hope you can all help me think of new ideas to get rid of those pests. The Denjimen as well as the Super Sentai. Sire, I think you haven't sent Mezagog, Bladoran, or Tranza. I think any of them may be your appropriate trump card, or Yamba of Darkness, said Long. Excellent suggestion, Long. I think sending Yamba and Shuza should be a good thing. On the other hand, keep an eye on Mitiko. It would be dangerous if his memory came back, said Radiguet. Emperor, we of the Dark Shadow are expert in details. Perhaps I can do the job. No, he is too treacherous. He tried to kill me, said Gaku. Nobody is asking for your advice, dumb bird, said Tranza, shaking the cage violently. Tranza, don't you think you're being too cruel, said Shuza. You are part of Vyram, said Tranza. We're meant to be cruel. Soon enough, Shuza, you'll know your destiny and here. He's far more evil than Grey was. Shuza herself as a Vyram officer has made her less annoying than she used to, but I won't take her as a consort. But I guess I can soon dispose of her if she cannot become the perfect Maria, said Radiguet. Oh, sorry, Tranza, said Shuza. I'll never question again. But just in case, you will need Trakina to go with you. After all, she is of the High Command, and her resume has a good record of her being an evil queen, said Radiguet. Sire, since you said that the Vader clan wants to pollute the Earth, I think we should send a monster to do the job, said Trakina. I think I know the monster to do the job is, said Radiguet. He decided to create a new version of Toxic Gas Rat. This time, he named his creation Pollution Raticon. Fabulous, said Trakina. The monster will soon cause much pain and suffering in the past. There is no way they will refuse our rule. Now go and fulfill your details with the Vader clan, said Radiguet. Trakina, Yamba, and Shuza left for the past. Now, at the Sentai year 1980, the Denjimen era. The Denjimen are patrolling the area looking for any trace of Vader. Satoru, Adam, Renn, Gaku, and Umeko are seen patrolling the area. There's no sign of the United Alliance of Evil yet in here, said Adam. But we can't be too sure, said Renn. As said, we ought to learn from our experiences of our past battles. He's right, said Gaku. I suggest we look harder to find them. They could just be around. All right, time to attack, said Satoru. Let's get moving, guys. The Denjimen were around the area. They were Ippi Akeji, Daigoro Umi, Jun Kiyamiya, Tatsuya Midorikaya, and Akira Momogai. They had noticed that strange visitors. Ippi Aki was on his motorcycle while the rest were on the jeep. We do have time to check the area for any other Vader agents, said Ippi. Roger, said the other Denjimen. Then let's not waste any time. Vader's agents can be anywhere. Who knows what they are planning now, said Ippi. Agreed, said Akira. Meanwhile, at the Vader fortress, Queen Hedron was simply discussing about their defeats. We have one defeat after another! When can we get rid of the Denjimen so we can take over this stupid planet? Said Queen Hedron. I can think of a way, said General Heder. All of a sudden, Trakina appeared before them with Yamba and Shuza. They were with Pollution Raticon. Don't you dare approach the Queen in such a crude manner. Show some respect, said General Heder. We are here to help you defeat the Denjimen, said Trakina. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Trakina, Queen of Scorpius, and these are my associates, Yamba and Shuza. We are here to drive a nice bargain in the name of the United Alliance of Evil. This monster will be yours for a crate of space diamonds. That's no problem for us, said Queen Hedron. We've plundered so much, and yet you only ask for a crate? That's pretty reasonable for a bargain. Thank you for the bargain. I will be escorting Heder to the battlefield with my two associates, said Trakina.